morning, everyone. This is Cheryl with Bluegrass Dreams to Seams. Here in Western Kentucky, we are burning up. Yes, we have heat indexes that are above 100. It's been a lovely week of hot, very, very hot weather. Best to stay inside where it's cool and comfortable. Today, I'm going to wear a dress because the dresses are usually cooler, so my uneven tan lines will show. But I don't care because I'll be comfortable. My last week and part of this week, I worked on Marcy Tilton's pattern 1784. It's this shirt pattern right here, and the main feature is this collar, which you can tell more about it right here. It's in 5 pieces. Don't let that scare you. The collar was one of the easiest things I've ever put together. I was a little bit intimidated by it, had actually taken a break prior to putting it together, and then after I went through all the steps, her steps are very clear. Of course, I watched the video that you can see on YouTube, Marcy Tilton, put in the pattern number, it'll bring them up. There's 4 videos, and she just does it in sections is what she's done. They're short, but they're clear and precise. I chose to use some of my mother's fabric stash, this really pretty robin's egg blue, or you could call it a teal, or I think it's more of a turquoise family color. It's solid. It was lightweight enough to do this, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it out of this first time. Just all solid. Don't deal with any contrast. Now when I remake it, I will do the contrast. A couple of things right out of the gate. There was a little mistake I found. The back has 2 pattern pieces that you have to overlap and put them together because that's just the way it was designed. I'm to the back, I'm trying to piece it together, and the lower part, matching it to the upper part, doesn't match up the lines, the seam lines, the stitching lines, the center front line. Not gonna match, no way. So I had to figure out what I was going to do to solve that problem. Now I could have matched up one side, probably would have been the center front line, 3 lines. I matched them up, and then you got a seam line and a cutting line on the left side. I could have just matched that up and redrew that, but I got a little afraid that my side seams, front and back, wouldn't match if I did something like that. I really felt like it was important to just go ahead and find an alternate, something down the middle. Now I could have folded it probably in half, didn't think about this till earlier, folded it in half, and if everything matched, I could have just cut it up the middle. But I didn't think about that, like I said. So what I did see was the grain line comes all the way down into that bottom section, and I thought, you know what, just cut right up that grain line, because literally it was like, I don't know, maybe an inch, inch and a half away from the bottom, and I thought you can just snip that right up that and you have a line. Then I spread it just an inch, inch and a half was all I needed. That was all. And then the back just kind of makes an arc, a real gentle arc, and so you just keep that arc going, and it worked perfect. My side seams matched when I got to that point, and I was very, very happy. So issue number 1 solved, but there would be others, and I did solve those as well. Now if you're an experienced sewer, you have more things in your toolbox to pull out, and so that's what I chose to do, but we'll get to those in a minute. The one of the first things you do is this right front piece has, I wish I could get this down, so you see that detail right there. Well, when you're cutting out your pattern, you're cutting out like into the garment, down, and to make this, there's like this gap, this chunk that gets cut out of it. It was a little scary doing that, but I've done it before with other designer-like patterns, and I thought, it's just follow the directions, it'll be fine. Now, she tells you in the directions to, and I wish she had done a video on this even, feature first. This little piece right here has to be done first. So then you go back and you're folding your fabric this way. You can see it's folded over itself in order to get the stitching line sewn from here to here. And you can see this is more, but just follow your stitching line, you'll be fine. One tip she gives is, and it's in the pattern directions, to hand stitch part of this tucked down in place. And all that does is it keeps it from flopping around. Just kind of gives you some stability where it is easier to fold these over each other. And then when you fold it back after you've done everything, pressed it, you have this nice, neat looking feature right there at the lower part of the front on the right. You also do one on the back. Now look, this goes all the way past the center, folding your fabric over itself and stitching from the side seam to this dot. And again, you see there's some fabric here. So that was easy to do. I got that done the first day along with shoulder seams. I chose to do flat felled seams, shoulders, the side seams, and the underarm seam. And then other seams were finished different ways. The sleeve has a little feature on it. That's the last thing you do. You have a little tuck right there and it folds over. I would like to put a button right there. So when I go back to Let's Sew, I'm going to buy some more of my buttons, and I'm one for each sleeve, and do that. Now the collar is the main feature of this whole pattern. It's the thing of interest. So I'm going to spend some time talking about it now. You have the right side collar. There's an overlay piece. So it's just seamed up. You know, you fold it over and seam that up. There's a mitered corner. Getting better at those mitered corners. I'm kind of proud of myself. And then you have your collar piece. Then you sew together your back collar piece. And of course you're going to fold up that piece that's supposed to cover raw edges. Mine didn't get to be that way, and we're going to go into why. Then you have your two pieces that create your left collar pieces. They're overlapped. She's very clear about all of this, and you can watch the video. And I took a break after I got the whole collar sewed together and decided I'll pin it on to see if it's even going to fit. It fit perfectly. It matched up all the dots like it was supposed to. And I thought, okay, let's take a little break, come back. Came back refreshed, get it sewn on, and the next pieces to go on, of course, are these facings. And the left facing and the right facing are separate pieces. Your facings are supposed to come to the shoulder seam. Here's where the end of it is. So all this would have been raw edges. I wasn't happy. Same thing on this side. Here's the facing, here's the shoulder seam. All that would have been raw edges. So I stepped back again, and I thought, okay, what are you going to do now? Because I don't have enough fabric really to cut these pieces again and try to adjust that where it would do like it's supposed to do. So I decided to watch a few videos, and I was watching Sloth and Orchids, and she's working on a t-shirt, and she used cotton twill tape to go from shoulder seam to shoulder seam on the back part of this t-shirt. And I had seen this before, and it just kind of made my brain think about, oh, what can you pull out of your toolbox, you know? So I took a bias cut piece of fabric, 1.5 inches wide, and I just kind of guessed at how long I needed, and I just wanted long enough that I could run it under the facing and conceal everything. It did mean that I had to take my piece I'd folded up and stitch down in place. It did mean taking the back collar pieces apart so that piece could be straight like everything else. And therefore, then when I sewed this piece on that you can see right here that's going across, when I sewed that in to conceal all those raw edges, see, I ran it underneath. I ended it right there, just about 1 inch, if that, under both sides. Then I just went across on the outside across and did a seam all the way across. And that holds that down in place. Concealed that, solved that issue. So this shirt fits really well. I do have pictures that I'll pop in at the end of me wearing on this. It's comfortable. I love it. I got a lot of compliments on it yesterday while I had it on. What else am I planning to do? Well, I need to make a cami for one thing going under these sheer kind of shirts. And I want something kind of light. So I just went and bought some white. It doesn't stretch, although maybe a little stretch might be nice. I don't know. And I'm going to use this pajama pattern. It's a Vogue pattern I bought a few years ago. It has like this little cami-like thing right there. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'll use that one. Have a couple of lingerie patterns laying around that I could have used, but this one, I don't have to worry about cutting anything off. It's already short, so save some time. I went to Evansville this past weekend with some friends and met some other people from Nashville, and I bought a couple pieces of fabric. Now, one of them is for my granddaughter, Isla. I've got to work on a dress over here for her. It's got some issues, but I found this. She loves pink, but look at that. All those daisies. She's going to love this. This is so her, and I'm just going to make her a little cotton knit dress, and if there's enough left over, I'll make her a little top, too. Have to get that cut out and done this week. Then I bought me this shirting, and I think I'm going to make, I'm really leaning more and more toward this shirt here. I don't know why I like things that are so complicated, but all these lines in this, look at this, all that detail. I will have to see how things are kind of laid out, if you get to play with the stripes or whatever. If not, I might not use this one. I might use this one. But this is my backup, is this pattern right here. This is Vogue 1786, and this is the sewing workshop, and it's called the Frankie shirt. Now, some friends of mine in my sewing group said they've made this and they love that shirt. So that's what my pink will probably be made out of. The other thing, you all, please stay cool if you're anywhere where I'm living in the middle of the country where it really heats up from this heat. Even down south, they've had bad heat. Stay cool if you can. I would go somewhere and stay cool. I would not stay home if I didn't have air conditioning that's working. And try to make yourself something beautiful if you can stay home. And if not, take up knitting, because you can always go to a restaurant or a bookstore and you still have something to keep your hands busy. All right, I will see y'all in probably 2 weeks, because next weekend we're gone. All right, have a good day. Bye.